Good morning and welcome. Come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. No matter how you came here, if you came alone or you came with others, you are welcome here. No matter whom you love, how you speak, whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes, you are welcome here. If you come with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands, then you are indeed welcome here. So welcome, friends. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of New Orleans. For almost 200 years, this congregation has been a beacon of liberal faith, personal self-fulfillment, and commitment to making our community and the world a better place. My name is Michael Martin. I go by the pronouns he and him. If you are a visitor and feeling a bit courageous, would you please raise your hand so we could say hello and greet you? That's okay. Also, we would like to ensure that everyone in attendance can hear the service in its entirety. If you are unable to hear any of the speakers, please just wave your hand and we will do our best to make sure that that person speaks up. So we are a lay-led congregation. That means we don't have a formal minister. On Sunday mornings, we have UU ministers, that is guests, religious professionals, leaders from social justice organizations, and our own members, like today, serve as voices of hope, courage, personal, emotional, and intellectual transformation from our pulpit. So that means we are lucky enough today to have Katie Sivani Gelfand as our speaker. And thank you for being here, or leading the service, I should say. And, well, let's go ahead and move forward and do the chalice lighting.
I invite you, please rise and body your spirit and join me in lighting the chalice of our heritage. The words are on your insert. I will read the regular font and invite you to respond in the italics. We are not alone. We are this flame, ancient as the stars, new as the vulnerable spark.
We are not alone.
We are this chalice, rimmed by the spiral dance of searching.
We are not alone.
We are the light soaring, the shadow deepening, the dance between them.
We are not alone.
We are the heirs of the tribes and their fires, the healers and their circles.
We are not alone.
We are here. We are here for ourselves. We are here for each other, and we are not alone. Please remain as you are and join in singing our opening hymn, number 123, Spirit of Life. The lyrics in English and in Spanish can be found on the inside cover of your gray hymnal. We'll sing it first in English and then in Spanish.
Hi, can y'all hear me? Yay! So we're going to read a story today about the origin of our chalice, and I'd like to invite all my young and young at heart friends to come sit up here with me. Yay, welcome everybody. All right, this story is called The Flaming Chalice, and it takes place in the year 1941. Does anybody know how long ago that was? A lot long ago. Like 80 years ago? 84. Nice. Math. All right. In the dark nights and darker days of World War II, when guns blazed all over Europe and airplanes dropped death from the sky, some Unitarians in the United States decided to help the refugees. Those are people who are trying to escape from the war. So the Unitarian Service Committee was formed. The committee members went to Europe to try to bring the refugees safely out of the war. But some of those refugees spoke German, some spoke French, Some spoke Italian, some spoke Yiddish, or some other language. So Dr. Charles Joy, who was in charge of the committee, knew that the Unitarians needed a symbol that everyone could recognize no matter what language they spoke or what country they were from. In 1941, in the city of Lisbon, Dr. Joy asked the artist Hans Deutsch for help. Hans Deutsch was a refugee himself. In fact, he'd been a refugee more than once. He had been born in Austria, but when the Nazis invaded his country, he fled to Paris. Then the Nazis invaded Paris, so Hans Deutsch fled to Portugal, where he met Dr. Joy. Draw us a symbol, Dr. Joy asked. Make it look important and official so it will impress the officials of different countries, yet have it show the spirit of our work, which is to help and to serve. And so, with pencil and with ink, Hans Deutsch drew a chalice with a flame, surrounded by a circle of protection and love. Refugees all over Europe came to know and trust that sign, and the flaming chalice became a symbol of freedom and hope during the dark nights and darker days of that war. Over 30 years later, in 1976, after the Unitarians and the Universalists had joined to form the Unitarian Universalist Association, that one circle drawn around the flaming chalice became two. And that's the symbol on your hymn books. One circle is for Unitarians, and the other circle is for Universalists. The circles aren't one inside the other, they're intertwined. They're connected, just as all of us are connected to each other and to everything in the world. The chalice is not in the middle of the circles. It's a little off to one side to leave space for other ideas and other ways. There's always room for more in Unitarian Universalism. The picture of the chalice in the double circle has been used officially since 1976. Real flaming chalices have been used in some of our churches for over 50 years. In 1981, the Reverend David Poole lit a chalice at a General Assembly meeting during the Service of the Living Tradition, which is held to celebrate the lives of UU ministers. Many of the ministers who were there that day went home to their churches and fellowships, and they decided to get their own chalices. So today, all over the world, Unitarian Universalists light the flaming chalice, just like you just did. We light one every Sunday when we gather for worship. Some of us have smaller chalices in our houses, and we light a chalice before every meal or at other special times. We have all kinds of chalices. We have chalices carved out of wood, shaped out of glass, or molded out of clay. We even wear them as jewelry or as pictures on our clothes. Chalices come in lots of different shapes and sizes and colors, just like Unitarian Universalists. The flaming chalice was drawn more than 80 years ago, and it is still a symbol of freedom and hope and light. It's a symbol of learning and caring and love. It's our symbol, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism.
We now begin a time of prayer as we hold in our hearts those in our circles and beyond who are in need of hope, care, and love. Following the prayer, we will enter into a time of shared silence-ish um, that you can use for meditation or the prayers of your heart. We will close the silence by singing together, Voice Still and Small. Today's prayer is a poem written by Jennifer Pratt Walter called Beneath the Slow Stars, Approaching Solstice. There in the uncandled night, something infinitesimal blinked and stretched. She had a name, but no one knew yet. She was all potential. Her newness was alive. The moon kept her silence. All the stars held their steady slowness above. There in the deep sack of night, a tiny hope was born. She carried her sisters called peace, called joy, called love, along every byway and stream, through every dwelling of every land, across every belief, and across those with no belief at all. Remember today, my beloveds, how out of the smallness comes the vast work, the staggering miracle of life itself. Awaken your candle out of night's silence, and then, as you tend it in your heart, watch it blossom to the fiery beacon from which hope arises. Whether that hope is a child or a solstice, a feeling or a thought, or something undefined, yet no less holy for want of a name. This is what I place upon us all, that beneath the stillness of the patient stars, we find ourselves at home with hope and all her sacred sisters. Blessed be. Among the themes of the holiday season is the hope for peace on earth. We believe that peace on earth depends on strong connections between people made of trust and compassion, justice and equity, and connections that lead us to a deeper mutual understanding and common ground of our shared humanity. One aspect of our shared humanity is our spirituality, expressed in diverse ways around the world while collectively addressing common human concerns and experiences. Our service this morning explores the various ways different religious traditions make use of a common symbol, light. We will briefly tell a series of stories about religious observances in which light is a central symbol, from ancient to recent times and across many lands. Celebrations of Yule, Diwali, Bodhi Day, Hanukkah, Advent, Kwanzaa, the human light, plus the story we just heard of our Unitarian Universalist heritage and the chalice. We honor these holy observances by entering the ritual in a spirit of learning. By lighting their lights together, we create a tableau of light, symbolizing our common ground of spirituality, hope, and wisdom traditions. Let us celebrate the season of the mystical long nights and the creative spark of illumination. First, the light of Yule. Each year as winter approaches and the nights grow longer, the days grow colder. We know that in many lands and cultures in the Northern Hemisphere, during these colder and darker days, ancient peoples gathered to share recently harvested crops, other treats, and to delight in the sharing of light, warmth, and the beauty of evergreens. Perhaps early on they believed that the fires would banish the cold and would call back the sun. It is understandable that the fire and greenery were consolations for the cold. The fire added light and warmth and the comfort found in being together, and offered a time to recall the wisdom of prophets and loved ones. And while it's doubtful anyone ever really feared the sun wouldn't come back, some might have thought that the rituals of the season helped to persuade and even beckon it. Gradually, by being attentive to nature and sharing knowledge, these cultures learned that the sun would always come back. As they studied the moon and the stars, they learned to discern when this change would occur. The 24-hour period, which is the longest night and the shortest day of the year, is the winter solstice, after which the days start to lengthen. And if you'd like to celebrate that holiday with us, we'll be doing a labyrinth walk in Audubon Park this year, so that's really exciting. Thus, the longest night of the year heralds the promise of the return of the light, metaphorically, the rebirth of the sun. This night and its promise became a night of celebration in many Northern Hemisphere cultures. These traditions began long, long ago, and one ancient name that we still use for the winter solstice is Yule. This year, our Yule log was made by Amelia Manning Frost, which is a very special treat indeed. It looks delicious, and she made extra this year, so we will hopefully all get to try it during coffee hour. The ancients lit their fires, and we today will light ours, to feel our connections to the earth and the sky, to honor the cycles of life, death, and rebirth, and to appreciate the power and depth of the long night and the promise of the sun illuminating our path. It is the promise of new beginnings, even in the hardest of times. May we see this flame of light and hope and turn to the new year and be joyful. We will now, please join me in singing from your seats, Deck the Halls, number 235, as we light the Yule. Around the world, people in and from India celebrate the Hindu New Year and the 5-day festival of Diwali. They dress in white and bright colors. They make sure their houses are freshly painted and completely cleaned on the night of the day of the festival. Rituals are performed to banish bad fortune. People bang on pots and pans and light candles or small oil lamps in every room of the house in order to scare it away. After nightfall, cities are lit up with fireworks and big bonfires. Diwali is a celebration of many stories. Most familiarly, it is linked with the stories of the goddess Lakshmi. The first day of the festival marks Lakshmi's birth from the cosmic ocean of milk that was churned by both gods and demons. It is also a day to celebrate the discovery of medicine. The first day's prayers are for protection from an untimely death. And the third day of Diwali is Diwali Day, and they celebrates Lakshmi's choice, celebrates the day that Lakshmi chose Vishnu as her husband and married him. Diwali is also linked to other Hindu stories about the hero's journey and the hero's homecomings. Hindus light Diwali lamps to festively illuminate their homes to symbolize the banishing of hatred, jealousy, ego, and enmity from their minds and hearts. Let us light the lamps of universal love, unity, and companionship, and strive to make the world a happy, healthy, and more prosperous place. Please join me in singing number 197, There Are Numerous Strings.
For the light of Bodhi Day. Once upon a time, many years ago, there was a rich and handsome young prince who seemed to have everything he could want, but he was not happy. He could see all around him people and animals suffering, being hungry, being poor, being sick, being abused, being afraid, and he wanted to make a difference in the world. He sat underneath a tree for several days to meditate on the suffering of the world, and underneath that tree, he became enlightened. It was like a light turning on in his soul. His mind and spirit were freed from suffering, and he resolved that he would live the rest of his life helping others to be freed from suffering. He was called the Buddha, which means enlightened one. And all over the world, Buddhists remember and honor the day the Buddha became enlightened as Bodhi Day. We light this Buddha lamp to remind us that everyone has the power to become enlightened like the Buddha. Our song is in our hymn book 184, Be Ye Lamps Unto Yourselves.
At Hanukkah, our Jewish friends and neighbors celebrate religious freedom and the miracle when the temple menorah was lit with only enough oil to last one day, yet it burned for 8 days. Hanukkah is an 8-day celebration of candle lighting after sundown. Each night, another candle is lit until on the 8th night, all are lit. The Hanukkah menorah, or Hanukkah, is usually placed in a front window so people can see it and also remember the miracle. The family gathers to sing songs, eat special foods, and give gifts to children and play holiday games. Sounds fun. Today, Hanukkah is celebrated as a time of dedication and renewal. It is a time to honor the ancient temple miracle and the struggle for religious freedom. This ritual reminds us of the possibility of the miraculous and invites us to be sources of light and hope in the world. Our hymn is number 221, Light One Candle. 226, 221. It's 2 something. Just look through your hymnal till you find it.
The lights of Advent. The origins of the Advent wreath tradition began among 16th century German Lutherans. To help the children know how many days until Christmas, the pastor of the mission school placed 20 red candles and 4 white candles on a cartwheel, lighting another red one each weekday and adding the white ones on Sundays. As the custom spread, the wreath was simplified, but still marked the time until Christmas, with the candles representing the 4 Sundays before Christmas. On each of the 4 Sundays before Christmas, Christians light one new candle in anticipation of the return of the radiant sun and the birth of the Holy Son. As we look forward to the return of the light, we light the candles of our Advent wreath. And the song is 226, People Look East.
Some of the celebrations of the season are as old as all of human civilization, and some are as modern as our time. Kwanzaa is both. It celebrates a set of values that sustained African American peoples through many passages and the profound hardships of oppression. Ron Karenga created the celebration of Kwanzaa to help people of African descent to remember and unite in celebrating the rich spiritual heritages of Africa. He received a small grant from the Unitarian Universalist Association to support his research in the creation of the holiday. From the day after Christmas, for a week, families gather to light one more candle each night, representing unity, cooperation, faith, collective responsibility, creativity, self-determination, and purpose. In the celebration of these values, we light the candles of the Kinara, and we pray that all human heritages be valued as lights that illuminate the human spirit. Our hymn is number 147, When All the People on This Earth.
And human light. The lights of humanism. Another celebration of the season that is modern as our time, is the 21st century tradition called human light. Gary Brill and Joe Fox of the New Jersey Humanist Network founded the holiday in 2001, and it is now celebrated across the United States and other countries. The first event was held on December 23rd, the date now recommended but not required for human light celebrations. It involved sharing a meal and artistic performances and things like that. Over the years, creativity has been encouraged and new features added to human light celebrations. Candle lighting has become a common one. By celebrating and expressing positive human values such as reason, compassion, hope, and humanity, the human light holiday has a vibrant and authentic meaning for non-theistic and humanist people and families. In celebration of these values, we light 3 candles for reason, compassion, and hope. May they light the path of every human life. The song is These 3 Flames, and it's in your insert. We will move into our offering. Generosity is a spiritual discipline. We can now practice our gift of giving either by placing your offering in the collection plate or by using information in your order of service to give electronically. Are you ready for it? Okay. And we have special music. It's the Winter Solstice song by the Flaming Chalice Choir. Gifts to this community of faith are gratefully received. Let us acknowledge these gifts by reading together the words in your order of service. This gift from the abundance of my life blesses me, our ministries, and the world. Thank you. Giving in the offering plate and pledging are part of how we steward this congregation, but there are countless other ways to serve, including our Christmas tree sale, build community, and share our love with the rest of the city and the state. Here are a few opportunities coming up, but I don't know if we have any spotlight announcements. So, okay. All right. I think we are ready for the chalice extinguishing. Please stand in body or spirit and join in our chalice extinguishing, which is in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. All right. This is from Reverend Paul. This church is a place in our hearts and a way we live our lives. Wherever and however we gather, we bring and share the spirit of love and life. Let us invite that spirit to fill us now as we enter into our various communities. Please turn and greet your neighbor and join us for coffee hour in the fellowship hall.
Let me remind you, we have coffee in the hallway. At noon, we have a congregational meeting right here. We're going to try to sit in a circle. And also,